How's it rockin', Dween Nation? You're listening to the Dween Sports Podcast. We're about to get underway. But before you give us a listen, we'd love if you could like, comment, subscribe, and share. We are posting weekly sports content, and we want to build up the brand that is Dween Sports. Thank you all, and enjoy. Welcome in, Dween Nation. This is your host, Justin Paez, alongside Genoa Agudelo, and we are here to discuss the spiciest of spicy takes for Week 9. We'll go obviously on the scale of spicy to spicier to spiciest. Some big plays this week. Heading into Week 9 of the NFL season. Before we dive into the explosions that we're gonna go through, how you feeling today, Jano?
Yo, Dween Nation, Justin, I'm feeling good. This is the episode where, guys, this can help you win fantasy games this week. It's also kind of give you an idea of what we're thinking towards the playoffs. There's some bold predictions. And you know what, Justin? There's some good, juicy matchup this week. And that really dives in specifically into certain players that have great matchups there, Justin. We have some running back kind of prediction. There's some wide receivers. I have a prediction that, I think it's kind of noted there. But I have a really my spiciest pick, Justin. I'm going to surprise you with this one. I want to see your reaction on this one. But okay. I'm going to let you go first. We're showing up. I have a running back. I believe you have a running back prediction. But let's see what our reactions are. So I'm excited to get right into this episode. I know all of the nation's definitely going to love this episode for sure.
Yeah, no, I'm excited. Thank you for giving the baton to me. I will start us off. And I have this is kind of mild, but I got Ken Walker. 3 touchdowns against the Rams on Sunday at 3 o'clock, our local time here. I think it's going to be a game where, obviously Geno Smith sucks. That's kind of your statement here. And yes. I think the fact that he probably will not have DK Metcalf. Ken Walker has been phenomenal this year. Why not rely on him in a game where the Rams struggle more against the ground than they do the air? I still think the Rams are going to get the victory, but I think Ken Walker's in line for a huge game on the ground.
Yeah, Justin, I have Ken Walker in my big league. And you know what? I need this win more than ever at 3-5. And you know what? This Seattle offense, they started off so well. They were 3-0 and they lost to Detroit. The Lions, they lost there. And Ken Walker had a great game, and he struggled to kind of get that. He's had some touchdowns here and there since then. But, this Seattle offense is going to need to run the football to get these pass catchers open. DK Metcalf could potentially miss this game, and they're going to need to just develop a running game there, milk the clock, because I do think that Stafford and this Rams offense is going to come out hot. They're pretty much fully healthy here. And so, this Rams defense is a little sneaky, especially on the road where Geno Smith is struggling. And so I'm agreeing with you. I hope that Ken Walker has a great day. I'm going to transition to another star running back in this league, and that is Saquon Barkley. Home. They're home with the Jacksonville Jaguars, who, by the way, got shredded last week by Josh Jacobs. And you know what, Justin? Saquon Barkley is, we thought he was dynamite on the Giants. He is dynamite. Very fun to watch. For me, a personal top 5 favorite to watch. Since he's been with Philadelphia, this offense is so much fun to watch because you don't know if Jalen Hurts is going to get a rushing touchdown. You don't know if he's going to throw a bomb to, Devontae Smith or A.J. Brown. And Saquon Barkley is capable of getting 100 yards. He did it against his former team a few weeks ago. And last week he had 100 yards. Pretty good game there from Saquon. And you know what? They're home this week, and I do think that the Jags are definitely the worst rushing defenses. My bold prediction is he's going to have 200 total yards, maybe 165, 70 rushing. He's going to get a couple catches to put him over 200 rushing yards and 3 total touchdowns. Go ahead and book it. I'm facing Saquon in one league, but I also have Saquon in another league. So it's going to be a little give or take there, but it doesn't matter. Saquon is dynamite on this Philly offense. This offensive line doesn't seem to have too many holes since the retirement of Jason Kelce. Love Saquon this week. I know you're an Eagles fan. I love the Eagles. They're in Lincoln Financial Field. One day I hope to go to an Eagles game there, Justin. Mm-hmm. That is a great, atmosphere to be in. Why not have Saquon a big day and kind of give Jalen Hurts the backseat? Keep your quarterback healthy. You're going to need him. You're kind of going up there in the rankings. If you watch our predictions, Dween Nation, Justin has the Giants losing to the Commanders, which, if that were to happen, and then Saquon and the Eagles win, I do believe that they will be tied in that division there, Justin. So definitely a win. Not to mention, they need to show their old coach and Doug Peterson there in Philadelphia. There'll probably be a little video package there tribute. He was the coach of their first ever Super Bowl win. However, I love Saquon to dominate this week and finish RB1 in fantasy.
Yeah, that'd be phenomenal. I mean, you took my spicy take and you went over that. So I gotta that was good though because he's got a great matchup. He's Saquon Barkley. Last week he didn't get in the end zone, right? He just got over 100 yards against the Bengals. So they're home in front of their home crowd. I think they haven't had that staple win at home, right? Because they were on the road the last 2 weeks, I believe, against the Giants.
I think they barely beat the Browns, but it was led by Deshaun Watson.
Right. See, so they haven't. The only game they won at home this year is against the Browns. So I think that this is that statement game that they've been waiting for. So I really like that take there. I mean, obviously he's a must start in every league that he's. If you own him, you have him in your lineup. But DFS, maybe it's time to spend up and get that guy on your roster. My second take, my spicier take, is going to be a duel of two quarterbacks, and I got Dak Prescott and Kirk Cousins dueling it out for 8 total touchdowns between the two of them. I'm expecting a lot of CeeDee Lamb, Drake London, probably some Kyle Pitts, Jake. I think Jake Ferguson also. So the wide receivers and tight ends are all going to eat, and then the running backs obviously can factor in. I could see like a dump off screen to Rico or the same thing for Bijan. So, but I expect a big game from Dak and Kirk. I think obviously we started to see the Cowboys offense start clicking a little bit, or at least we saw CeeDee Lamb kind of stand out finally as that best wide receiver in the league. And then on the Atlanta side, they've been very good, over the last month and a half. So I expect a huge game between the two down in Atlanta.
Yeah, Justin, definitely a big-time game, a must-win for the Dallas Cowboys. And, the Falcons are starting to find their stride there offensively, Justin. Mooney's hot. Hopefully, I'm not sure if London's going to play. I did see on the injury report he was kind of nicked up after that win in Tampa. But, Kyle Pitts had a great game last week, so I do think that he has some momentum going into this weekend. Definitely you mentioned hopefully we get some Bijan catches there. And, Kirk is on fire. He's starting to find his stride. We saw this last year before his ACL injury, starting to find his strides with that Minnesota Vikings offense. Obviously, they had one of the best receivers in the league in Justin Jefferson. But you know what? This Falcons team is finding their stride. And somewhat, this Cowboys offense is finding their stride there. It's kind of weird, Justin, that they play better on the road than they do in AT&T Stadium there in Arlington. They had a great game in Pittsburgh a few weeks ago. And one of the guys that kind of scored the go-ahead touchdown to win them that game is Jalen Tolbert, a very sneaky pick, Justin, in daily fantasy lineups all across the board this week. Jake Ferguson has been very quiet this year, so hopefully he can get a touchdown. And obviously, I think that him and CeeDee Lamb are going to pick up where they left off last week in San Francisco. They started to find their stride there in the second half. And I think CeeDee was open for 2 touchdowns. The first touchdown was open, and the second one was just a good throw by Dak Prescott. And Justin, this team needs to win now. This Dallas Cowboys team needs to get a victory because Philadelphia and Washington, they're kind of running away little by little with Dallas, they face Philadelphia, I believe, next week. And Dallas hasn't even faced Washington yet, Justin. So this team needs to get a win now. As far as Atlanta, they're leading that. They're kind of running away with that division as well. And this win would kind of put them sole possession with Carolina and the Saints playing each other this week. One of them is going to get a loss, as well as both teams are struggling. And as well as Tampa Bay. They don't have Chris Godwin. They don't have Mike Evans. And they're playing Kansas City. So the Falcons need to get this win and kind of put a little bit of a grip as we head to November and enter in the mid, of the division race there. So definitely like that. My spicier take, Justin, mango habanero, throw some Takis in there, a little bit of Tabasco sauce. I'm hot there. It's passing mild. And I'm going to go with, tell me if this is, this could be as spicy or spiciest, but this matchup in Buffalo is all wrong for Miami. I am very concerned for what I'm going to see this weekend in Buffalo. Justin, the last time these two teams played, I believe it was week 2. Unfortunately, Tua Tagovailoa, suffered that injury, that devastating concussion, which put him on IR, which led to his return last week there, Justin. And you know what? My spicy take is that the Dolphins get shut out this week. I'm sorry. I'm just not seeing it. Justin, In week 2, they only scored 10 points, and that was in Miami in prime time. Can you imagine Sunday afternoon, Bills Mafia, thousands upon thousands upon thousands upon Bills Mafia fans loaded there, loud, ready to go. Josh Allen, this Bills, team, they're looking to win this division. They're leading, and they want to win. They want to win this. And, one thing that worries me is that Jalen Waddle has not been the Jalen Waddle we know and love. Last week, we expected Tyreek Hill to have a breakout game, not so much. And, even though Devon Achane, our guy here, had a great game last week, I do think that the Bills are going to be able to stop him because he had a decent game last time around on that Thursday night game in week 2. But you know what? This Miami offense, this offensive line particularly is not going to be able to handle the strong pass rush of Buffalo. It's going to be loud. Tua's just not going to be able to get it done, I don't believe. And my spicy third take, Justin, is that the Dolphins get shut out and only have as an offense 150 total yards. That's passing, that's rushing. Potentially Tyreek Hill could be only held under 30 yards. Potentially Jalen Waddle might not even get a catch. I'm very worried for this Dolphins offense as they're in Buffalo. If they're in Miami this time around, maybe I'd feel a little bit better. But I do think that Bills and Bills Mafia is going to run all over the Dolphins.
And it seems like the Dolphins have kind of been the sons to the Bills. Like Bills have owned the Dolphins over the last for a while now. Over the last 13 games, the Bills have won 12 of them. Like it's been that bad for Miami. I mean, I'm hopeful, just to see good offense, see Tua back again. But you're headed into, as you mentioned, Bills Mafia and Orchard Park. It's going to be a tough one, and the Dolphins usually struggle. So I like that take there. I think 150 total yards that is spicy. That is very spicy. But hey, that's what we're here for. With the bold.
I don't need milk for this one.
You might. I mean, that's hot. But moving to my final spiciest take, it's another duel, but it's a duel out of some running backs that are happening on Sunday Night Football, and it's between Jonathan Taylor and Aaron Jones. They're going to combine for 5 touchdowns and 300 yards. I expect some crazy stuff to go on. I think, obviously, we know how good a passer Joe Flacco is, and Darnold's been pretty solid this year, and he's got, Jay Jettas. But I expect, the Colts have been pretty complacent against the run, and, we saw Kyron have a very good game against the Vikings on the flip side against the Vikings last week on Thursday night. So I expect both sides to be able to score a plenty, and I think it's going to happen through the air, it's going to happen on the ground. But in totality, Aaron Jones and Jonathan Taylor will have 300 total yards combined and 5 scores.
Wow, Justin, you know what? That is a spicy take there. Jonathan Taylor, he could potentially benefit off this Joe Flacco start. And we're hoping Jonathan Taylor kind of takes back that RB1 status. I have him in the league. You have him in the league. So you and I are kind of hoping on the same thing here. Love me some Jonathan Taylor. I love that he's, pray that he can, stay healthy for the rest of the year. And, Aaron Jones has been really good this year. And, he had some time to rest. I do believe they played last Thursday, so they had a couple days to rest. And Aaron Jones has been, slightly nicked up a little bit this year. But you know what? That's really good there. And, one thing to point out before I get into my take, and in fact, I'm going to stay on this game for my spiciest take. But, these last 2 times these teams played, they both looked very different, but it was the comeback. The Colts were up 33-0. Kirk Cousins and Justin Jefferson, and even KJ Osborne there. I think he's a New England Patriot now. I don't know what KJ Osborne's doing these days. Able to lead a great comeback there, and the final score was 39-36. So, looking at this scoreboard just real quick, the Colts are up 33-0, and the final score was 39-36. So crazy how the Vikings were able to score 39 points in the second half there. But one thing to point out there for you Colts fans, a very different team there. I think this Colts team was led by Jeff Saturday as the head coach. Matt Ryan was the quarterback, and luckily for Colts fans, I do not believe that Jonathan Taylor was active for this game. I believe he was injured for the rest of the year at that point. It was Zach Moss and Deion Jackson in that backfield. Michael Pittman had 14 targets for 10 catches there for 60 yards. So maybe a little foreshadowing on what could be this weekend with Joe Flacco at quarterback. But you know what, Justin? My spicy take, like I mentioned, I'm staying in this game. It's with another Colts wide receiver. And you know what? It's Alec Pierce.
Ooh.
I love what Alec Pierce has been able to do with Joe Flacco, Justin. And, the last time we saw kind of Joe Flacco lead this team, Alec Pierce, he had a great game in Jacksonville. Let me see. I think he had what? It was, let me look real quick. It was 134 yards there, led by Flacco. I know the next week, I do believe that Ayark was hurt in Tennessee. And, Joe Flacco is a great passer. He's a future Hall of Famer. We saw what he did last year in Cleveland. And you know what? I think fantasy managers are rejoicing. If you have Pittman, he potentially can go up. But I just love Alec Pierce to have a big breakout game Sunday Night Football. Justin, I think he has 134 yards again this Sunday night with 2 touchdowns and 9 catches. I'm thinking 14 to 15 targets. Potentially, the Vikings could go up early, 13-0, 17-0 kind of early. I think that Joe Flacco, yes, Jonathan Taylor is going to get his, but he's going to have to pass in certain drives. And I like Pittman to kind of Alec Pierce to kind of get those big-time grabs. And you know what? Pittman's going to be getting all of the attention. I do believe he has a great game. But I just love Alec Pierce, Sunday Night Football, in a closed stadium there, down, and have one of the best old veteran passers there. I can't believe we're saying this in 2024, Justin, that Joe Flacco on the Colts is, leading these Indianapolis Colts as he did last year with the Browns. That's also crazy to say. But you know what, Justin? We were young kids watching Joe Flacco dominate the AFC alongside the Patriots, winning a Super Bowl, making multiple AFC title runs. We were thinking by at this point in our age, Justin, he'd be retired. His jersey would be retired in Baltimore. But no, he is still slinging around there. And now for the Indianapolis Colts there, I do believe he brings in juice. And I do believe that Alec Pierce is going to step in and be a potential wide receiver one now going forward with the Indianapolis Colts.
No, I mean, it obviously helps that Joe Flacco is at quarterback. It's tough news of obviously not having AR there for the time being. It's tough as a franchise. If you're a Colts fan, you're probably, I don't know if you're happy or not. I mean, obviously, Flacco, I think, helps you win more now, but not like future-wise going forward into like next year and stuff. But now that he is the lead man behind center, I think it helps everybody involved. And we saw it, that 1 week, as you mentioned, against Jacksonville with Joe Flacco. He's able to throw the deep ball. He's able to just keep the Colts on the field and on offense. No more 3 and outs and no more, poor possession. So I think it's a really good take there.
I want to add one last thing. Alec Pierce actually leads the Colts this year in receiving yards, Justin.
Wow.
And he's tied for number 1 on the Colts with receiving touchdowns. He's tied there with Josh Downs. And Michael Pittman is second and tied, or basically second, with 2 receiving touchdowns. So Alec Pierce, on paper, he's the leading receiver there for the Colts. So I think that he kind of extend that receiving lead there this weekend in Minnesota.
Yeah. I think that's a great. I mean, Pierce is top 10 in air yards in 2024 as well. So he's able to take that deep ball and it pays off. It takes one play for it to really pay off for Alec Pierce. So I like that. I mean, it is very spicy. Obviously, you left it for the last, which makes total sense. That'll be blazing. I'm excited for this weekend of football. We got one more episode, starts and sits, so stay tuned for that, Dween Nation. Thank you for listening to our Bold Predictions episode. And Genoa, send us out.
Yo, Dween Nation, this was our spicier, and spiciest picks of the week. We'd love to throw crazy predictions out there because this could potentially not only win you fantasy championships and fantasy weeks, but it could win you money. So definitely keep a close ear out here in Dween Nation. We love our money. We love winning stuff. We want to defeat the system that Price Picks and Underdogs try to get us with. But thankfully, you have us here at Dween Nation, Dween Sports, to provide you. Justin and I, we're kind of ahead of the curve here. We have a history of doing it. So we're kind of the best duo here to kind of give you guys the players that you need to know there. So definitely all the players we have here this weekend, keep a close eye on. Thanks for watching. We love you guys. And as always, peace.